So, good evening, you wonderful people, or good afternoon, or good morning, whatever time it is for you lot who are listening on the replay or watching on the replay. Thank you so much for doing that. Really means the world. After a little bit of Facebook shenanigans, technical stuff, I have finally got live. You people who might be watching on Twitter right now, shout out to you. And everybody listening on the replay on the audio experience, shout out to you as well. So it is, as I record this, the 12th of April, 2021. We've had lockdown lifted ever so slightly today. I've been in the gym. I've been to get my hair cut. I've clearly fried my brains because I've been out of the house. It seems like I haven't got a clue how to set anything up tonight. But yeah, I think hopefully this is the beginning, isn't it, of Boris's, what does he call it? His irreversible roadmap to freedom or something like that. I hope it is irreversible. I freaking really hope it is irreversible. Let us know in the chat how you are doing. If you're watching on the replay, drop a comment in the chat as well. Ruth, how are you doing? Good to see you. Soleia's in the house as well. Alicia says I logged into the wrong account. Alicia, don't worry about it. I've just, Facebook have changed how I set everything up live video wise, so I've logged into everything wrong today. Richard, good. I don't know what it is for you, mate. Good afternoon. Richard's in Miami, and Brendan is here as well. Gary is here as well. Do you wear a mask for the haircut? Yes, Gary, absolutely. I still wear a mask everywhere I go. I've got hand sanitizer everywhere I go. One thing we cannot do now is get complacent, guys. We want everything to open up. We want TV sets to open up. We want audition rooms to open up. Let's not screw things up now. We've got levels down to such a low amount right now where COVID is not taking over our lives. Let's just please not muck it up now. Go get your jab if you haven't had one. I've not even been invited for one. I'd have two. I'd have three. I'm well up for it. Bring it on. So, what we're going to be talking about tonight then? Right. I want to talk about a few things. I want to, though, recap a little bit on last week's member-only mastermind session that we held with in my opinion, the top acting accountant for actors in the industry, Mr. Glyn Jelley from a company called Summit Chartered Accountants. He's based in Media City. He looks after some of the biggest production companies in the industry, the biggest directors, producers, writers, editors, just basically everybody in the TV industry. Knows the industry inside out, and for that reason makes him an incredible accountant for us, because a lot of accountants that I've had in the past, they're great accountants, but they don't know our industry that well, whereas Glyn does. So, he can advise you on a lot of stuff financially that I just don't think other people have the knowledge on. Obviously make you as tax efficient as possible. And we covered a load on last week's mastermind, a lot of the technical stuff, and I know people find it boring, but I don't think you find profit boring, do you? And if you are not, I want to know, how many people, if you're here and you're a member and you watch that, how many people have now started seriously looking at their career as a business? Because so few actors look at their career as a business. So few actors have a growth mindset around money. They have a real scarcity mindset around money. They come at this industry through such a lack of everything, not just money, but a lack of confidence, a lack of time, just a lack of literally everything that you could think of. A lack of, I'm not good enough, I'm not good looking enough, I don't have this enough, that enough, I'm not talented enough. And thus they often stay where they are because they don't ever look at, being able to have more. I don't know, maybe even deserve more. And money is a big part of this industry, should never be a dirty word. You all have incredible skills that I'm sure you have invested so much time and energy and money into. You should be paid good money to deploy those skills, but you will not be paid good money to deploy those skills until you start looking at your career as a business, as opposed as a hobby and something that you just dabble in. And we had a really good chat on this mastermind session with Glyn last week, where I discovered something that I didn't even know, actually. And it applies to everybody on this call. If you're not registered self-employed as an actor and you're taking your career seriously, you are leaving massive amounts of money on the table. Because even if you are not making profit right now, if you are registered with HMRC as self-employed, even if you're in part-time employment elsewhere and you're getting taxed on PAYE, pay as you earn, and you're making national insurance contributions and all that sort of stuff, if you are accruing losses in your acting career, so maybe it's year one of your acting career and you have got your expenditure like Spotlight, like your headshots, your showreel, an Act on This membership, all kinds of stuff that you are expending, which puts you at a loss as opposed to a profit, you can offset that loss against tax that you are paying in other areas of your work, in your part-time employment job or wherever you are paying tax, etc., etc. And I did not know that. That was new for me. I knew you could offset that tax, that loss against future profits in your acting career. I didn't know you could offset it against existing contributions that you are making tax-wise. So I just want to talk a little bit tonight and play a couple of clips out to really just getting you to the point where you are taking your career seriously. Because, I mean, let me know, like, how many people here, for whatever reason, have never looked into going, well, you know what? I believe enough in myself that I'm going to work, I'm going to earn money out of this career that I so desperately want. So I will, if I was setting up any other business, I would register as a company or self-employed or whatever. Why am I not doing it in my acting career? And is it because you really, like, even if you don't you maybe haven't acknowledged it, you might not have even been conscious of it, but you are fueling your career with limiting beliefs around the fact that you're going, oh, well, the likelihood of me ever becoming profitable is so slim that I just won't bother because I'm never going to end up having to pay tax anyway. It's not about having to pay tax because you've got a tax threshold of around £12,500 before you would have to pay tax. But it is about treating your career as a business so that when you do start making profit, you are as tax efficient as possible, or you can start offsetting, tax payments that you are making elsewhere in your life with potential, losses right now, to save money, losses over here, and you're saving money over here on profits that you're making. So I want to play a clip first of all, and again, leave me some comments if you if you didn't know this. I didn't know that myself. I've been self-employed for about, God, I don't know, 12, 13 years, and I didn't know that. I'd have become self-employed the day I left drama school, to be honest, if I'd have known that. But let us know, why you've never done it, if you're going to do it. And I'm going to play a clip out from Glyn where we just talk about why creatives are just notoriously, I don't know, like, I don't want to say bad with money, but we are quite bad. We are quite bad with money when we're starting off, when you don't know this stuff. You only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. So I'm going to play this clip and then I'll jump back on. It's only 2 minutes long, but here's a little bit of the chat that we had on the member-only mastermind we held when would it have been? Last Tuesday with Glyn. Why do you think actors are just creatives notoriously bad about, if you were setting up any other business, you say you were setting up a t-shirt business or something like that, people would look at it and go, I've got a business, and be proud of that. And you see people setting things up and putting on Facebook, I'm setting up this business, and they would go and register as a limited company or as self-employed, and they would do it. Why don't creatives do that? What is it, you think?
I think it's when their business is them, and they can't differentiate between them everyday life and them their career, and they struggle to go, actually my acting is the same as if I was a factory or something like that. That acting is a business, and they should be setting up, if they were setting up a business, like you say, making t-shirts, they would get an accountant, they'd set up properly, they'd put everything in place because they go, right, I'm setting up a business. But for some reason, when that it's acting, they see it as themselves and they don't go, right, I'm setting up a business. Whereas, like, if you want to succeed, you should be putting everything in place. You should be going, I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be a successful actor, I'm going to make a career of it, and I've got to get these things in place.
Definitely. And I'd say I think a lot of it is down to, I think, just self-belief and going, actually, I think you're almost subconsciously telling yourself, if you're not gonna lay the foundations of creating a business for yourself, that you're subconsciously telling yourself you're gonna fail. You're like, well, actually, I'm probably never gonna have to pay tax on my earnings because, and then what you're saying to yourself subconsciously is, I'm never gonna earn anything. Yeah. It's crazy. I want people in our community to start freaking working, right? And you're only gonna start working if you're gonna, like, as they start taking this shit seriously. You must believe in yourself enough to go, I'm gonna earn £1,000 between now and next April the 5th, right?
I just see it as a mindset, like nothing to do with accountancy, but if you're going into a career and you don't think that you don't believe in yourself enough that you're going to earn £1,000,
it's not a career, is it?
It's not a career, and you've got the wrong mindset, that maybe you don't have the passion or belief for it that you should have, really.
Boom. And I completely agree with Glyn. It's nothing even to do with accountancy. I think it is a mindset about whether people actually believe in their potential enough to have success. And I think there comes a point where if you're not having it, you've got to draw a line in the sand and go, no, you know what? I'm going to commit to this now. And, you know, if you do register yourself as self-employed, you know, you have an account. It's not super expensive. I think Glyn's like 150 quid plus VAT when you're first starting out. It's 180 quid to take all of that stress of all your tax returns off you, you know, for the first year when you're just getting set up. Like that is a commitment. It's almost like going, right, now I've got skin in the game. You know, it's I don't know what the equivalent would be in other areas of life where you just go, right, this is it. I guess you know what? It's like it's like if you've never worked out before and you've never really committed to your health and your fitness, and it's like going, right, I'm going to go and buy that gym membership. Innit? I guess it's kind of like that, where you're like, right, that is a commitment. It's skin in the game now. Enough is enough. I'm going to buy that. I've got my workout gear, and today we're going for it, and I'm going to work every single day, you know, to invest in my health, invest in my fitness. I think a lot of people need to invest in their psychology, you know, and their mindset, and you know, get that sorted out. We try and help a lot with that, you know, in the Acts on This community. But yeah, I think, you know, a lot of people, even Petch, you know, Petch has worked for me for, has it like a couple of years now, something like that. He's over the tax threshold, even just with the work that he does for me. Never mind his acting work and stuff, and yet he's always struggled to do the tax returns himself, just to save a little bit of money, and it ends up like costing him like 5 days worth of hassle and stress and last minute rushing around, like, oh. And even Petch today, I think, I'm pretty certain I saw on his Twitter that he'd been to see Glyn, and he's now registered as self-employed through Glyn, and Glyn's now his accountant. So Petch has drawn that line to go, right, come on, I'm in. I'm going to start taking things seriously. So let us know if you were on that live. Let us know what you thought of it with Glyn. I've got another clip to play out where he just talks about the steps of actually getting, you know, to the point where, well, like just the process of becoming self-employed. Alicia says something like she's bought a multi-gym at home, but are you using it though, Alicia? Or is it one of those things where, because I've brought a Peloton bike and it's great fun, but I still have to force myself to use it, particularly now the gyms are back open, because I'm like, I've got to do it. Right, let's have a look. I'm missing a few comments. Facebook again. It's terrible design. They don't let me go back through old comments, unfortunately. So I can see half of someone's comment where they said at least 25k by next April. I think that's someone setting a goal for themselves. Come on, let's do it. We can do that 2k a month, you know, between now and next April. The reason we had Glyn on last week, obviously, it was the 6th of April when Glyn came on. So it was the brand new, you know, the first day of the new tax year. Andrew said he sent Glyn my stuff. I love it. Glyn should stop paying me for these referrals as well. I don't need him to though. He's just such a good guy. I'm just so glad that you guys are working with him. He will make your life a lot easier. Let's have a look. Chris says here he did get an accountant. Can confirm. Oh yeah, because you saw Petch today. I saw a picture of you online. Was having a beer with him earlier. Helen says I'm in full-time employment, albeit doing part-time hours right now. Plus I'm a full-time student. Quite honestly, I hadn't thought of registering as self-employed until I start to see work trickle in. But yeah, you should be accruing the losses if you are indeed accumulating those. I think we all accumulate losses for the first couple of years of our acting career. I know I did, in terms of that it is some of the most expensive time where you're going out, you're attending a lot of workshops, you're going to class, you're getting headshots, you're shooting showreel scenes, you might be signing up to Equity and Spotlight, a membership like Act on This, you know, all kinds of stuff like that, which is absolutely tax deductible. So you could easily, I think in a couple of years, God, you could easily rack up, 3-4 grand's worth of losses, which you can offset, you know, against the tax that you're paying elsewhere in your career. I'm not a tax genius. I don't know exactly how that works, but Glyn did explain it on the webinar. I'm going to play a little clip out about just the easy steps to becoming self-employed. And you don't need to go through an accountant if you don't want to. You could do it yourself. I would always recommend you do, just because in my own experience, it saves you so much time. I used to be that person who would always go, no, I'm going to do it myself. I'll save the 50 quid. I'll save the 100 quid here, the 200 quid there. And I would end up like wasting like 2 weeks of time that I could have put into actually earning way more money than the money it would have just cost me to just go and get someone who really knew what they were doing to do it like in 5 minutes. So here's a little clip that we played out on just literally setting up as self-employed if you've never thought about it before. Registering as self-employed to begin with, when and how?
As you said, the tax year runs 6th of April to 5th of April. So every person's the same in this country. It is always that as the tax year. So anything that you earn within those 2 dates, when you get to the end of that year, 5th of April, if you're self-employed, you're going to be taxed on it.
Yep.
So during the year, for example, it's July time, you've got your first acting job. You've got 2 schools of thought. One, you were going to go for it earlier in the year. Personally, I would be going, right, I'm going to register self-employed, because in my head, that is, I'm going to be successful. I am going to get a job for more than £1,000 in a year. And I'm going to make sure that I've kind of committed to that's what I'm going to do. But if you've already started acting, you've had your first acting job, it's July, you have 3 months from when you first earn money as a self-employed person to register for self-assessment. Okay. In reality, you don't get punished for it so long as you register before the end of the tax year, but the actual rule is 3 months from when you first earn that money. Okay. So you go, right, I'm registering for self-assessment. You got a couple of ways you can do it. You can go, Glyn, register me for self-assessment. And we just do that anyway for people to make sure it's done right. We don't charge for that. Yeah. Alternatively, you can go on HMRC's website. They have a thing called Government Gateway. You register with them that you're going to be self-employed. You explain like the sector that you're in. And then you put in a lot of key details. It'll create an account online, and then you're ready then to be able to log in on that account and be in a position to do a tax return in the future. You'll get a thing called a UTR, which is a unique tax reference, and that's going to be your tax reference for life. So if you're self-employed and then you go employed for 20 years, if you go back self-employed in the future, they'll still use that same UTR that you had all those years ago. So yeah, it's with you forever.
Boom. And just to let you know, the £1,000 figure that we were talking about there really is the threshold for where you are legally obliged to actually, you have to register as self-employed. If you are going to earn, or at the point of earning £1,000 or more from your acting work or voiceover work, or, you know, anything that you do within your acting career, you actually have to. You have 3 months from that point to register with HMRC as self-employed. But you'll have heard Glyn say there, you know, that he would just, if he was starting out, he would just register straight away, because it's not about going, like I say, I'll register when I have to. You might well be leaving a load of money on the table because you are, as I say, accruing losses that you never ever get to, you know, offset later down the line. If you are not, Caroline, you definitely need to speak to your accountant, because I don't know the ins and outs of full-time employment and part-time employment and acting work, but Glyn does. Listen, honestly, if you're a member of actonthis.tv, by the way, yeah, if you go over to actonthis.tv, if you're not a member, you can watch a little preview. I'll play this out at the end, actually. You can watch a preview in the preview section of what we got up to, what we talked about in the, in that webinar with Glyn. It was about 2 hours long. You members, if you click into the members area and you click into your premium membership, which is here, you will find the full chat here, setting up as self-employed with top access accountant Glyn Jelley. Within this chat, you'll see at the end, we give Glyn's details, and yeah, you can. He's done an exclusive offer for Act on This members, where he will set you up and do your tax return in year 1 for just 150 quid plus VAT. It's normally a lot more than that. I used to pay my old accountant. I mean, I pay Glyn a lot more than that because my accounts are quite complex now. But most accountants are like $450, something like that, for tax returns and stuff when you get to a certain point. So that's incredibly cheap for Glyn to just set you up, take all the stress off your shoulders, so you don't need to worry about it at all. But yeah, if you get over to actonthis.tv, you members, get into the members area, have a watch of that. It's honestly, it's probably the only time where I can, out of the 400 hours worth of content on the website in the members area right now, probably guarantee you that if you watch that, it will make you money. It's the only one. The other ones, you've got to go out there, they'll all make you money. You've got to go out and take action on what our guests are talking about. That one, you basically just need to fill in a few things or just get Glyn to do it all for you, and it will save you cash. But if you want to watch the full thing, and I'll play at the end of this, I'll play like a little trailer out of some other little mashups of some other stuff that we spoke about on that session. Get yourself over to actonthis.tv, get a membership. We have got some incredible calls, coming up. Might as well segue into this, actually, and then we'll do some Q&A for a bit. We've not really done quality Q&A for a while. This Thursday, might as well go back over to my browser. This Thursday evening, I had a wicked chat with this gentleman today. This is going to be such a good session. If I go back out to... and it goes to the live page, the schedule. I think it's this page. I'm sharing my screen again, aren't I? I always do this. I'm like, am I sharing my screen? Yeah. So if you go to actonthis.tv/live, you can see the schedule. In 2 days, 22 hours, we're going to be joined by, God, it's one of the best casting directors in the industry, Mr. Andy Morgan, CDG. Will be here 7:30 p.m. for all members of actonthis.tv. We're going to hold a private mastermind group on Zoom where we're going to be talking all about Andy's career as a casting director. He's ended up, he's been putting like top people in some of the biggest shows to ever grace our screens for 20 years. People like Idris Elba in Luther. He's cast things, some of my favourite shows, really. Stuff like Law and Order UK, man. I used to bloody love. The Musketeers, Good Karma Hospital, Flesh and Blood, ITV's Manhunt with Martin Clunes. He's just done some absolutely, stunning TV, and he's currently he's got 3 projects on the go. 2 he can't talk about. 1 he can. It's a Netflix show. An 8-part Netflix show. I won't say any more until this coming Thursday evening, but he's going to be telling us about that, the casting process. Andy really wants to talk about the future of casting. Now he has been working since last August, predominantly just almost exclusively through self-tapes and Zoom, obviously, like most casting directors. But he is a big advocate of what self-tapes have been allowed him to do, and he wants to keep that moving forward. We had a great chat today for about an hour. We did a little Zoom test. It was only supposed to be 10 minutes. We were on Zoom for about an hour just chatting about all kinds of things. But he's got he was giving me just some freaking amazing advice. I was like, why am I not recording this? We were talking about self-tapes and auditioning just in general. And I was saying, how some self-tapes I've had recently. I don't know if you guys are guilty of this. Please let me know if you are, because I will feel less like a pleb on my own. I know recently I have been, and this has been subconsciously, I've not actively done this, but looking back on my tapes and looking at why I haven't booked the jobs, I don't think, because I've been so grateful for some really good tapes recently, haven't booked any of them. And I think it's because I know it is. I have built a tendency, and I don't know why, just over the last sort of 2 or 3 months, and I know I shouldn't have done this, but to try and second guess what the casting director wants, to try and second guess what the director is looking for in this scene, as opposed to just going, hey, here's how I would play it. I'm not going to give you what I think you want, because then it's going to be halfway between what I am and what I think you want me to be. And thus, I've been kind of between 2 goalposts. I don't think I've been one or the other. I've not been what they want, and I've not been authentically myself. And I think that's why I've not booked these roles, because I know I was capable of booking them, and they're on great shows as well. And I'm like, oh, Ross, you dickhead. You so should have had these. You could so do this. And Andy was giving me some really interesting advice around that I'd never thought of before. I'm not going to tell you what that is now, because I want you to come and join us on Thursday night and we can discuss it. But, he's cast some of the biggest stuff in the game for over 20 years. He used to be an actor for 10 years himself when he started out in the industry. The guy is switched on, and he's such a lovely guy as well. He's one of the only casting directors where I have reached out initially to go, hey, would love to have you on the site. And he's seen my mobile number in the signature of my email. And rather than drop me an email to go, yeah, I can do that, sort out a date, he's just phoned me and said, let's have a chat. I really enjoy doing these kind of things. What we're going to be talking about, he's quite excited about it. You can just tell he's a proper sort of like, just an advocate for new talent, for championing people of all levels as well. He said one thing that he wants to focus on as well is it's not about discovering new young talent. It's about guiding all talent, regardless of your age or at what point you've come into the industry. Because I think sometimes there's people, and I feel it a little bit now, I'm knocking on the door of 40. I'm going to be 40 next year. You do sort of, when there's a lot of schemes that are like for under 25s, you're like, you bastards. Like, where's the scheme? Where's the scheme for the under 40s? And there'll be people on here right now who are 60 going, where are the schemes for the under 65s? Where are the schemes for the 75 plus? It can feel like that sometimes, can't it? It can feel like, as you age up a little bit, that maybe a lot of the breakthroughs are for the for the youngsters. So yeah, it's going to be a really great chat. If you want to be on that chat, if you want to get an opportunity to speak to Andy, have a little one-to-one. Obviously, we can't get everybody doing that, but I'll bring as many people on as I possibly can on the evening. And if you're not a member, get yourself over right now, over here, actonthis.tv/live. Get your membership. You'll never get anything nearly as good in this industry for £6 a week. It's an absolute joke how cheap it is. But I want to give more value than anybody else in this industry. I see nearly everybody else in this industry, guys, charging £25 for one of these sessions. I give you £7 a month for £24. So you can't get better than that, basically. If you want value and you want to, hear from the biggest people in the industry, then jump on board. But yeah, that's going to be this Thursday evening. Go and have a look on the site as well. That's on this.tv/live. You'll see what's coming up over the next couple of weeks. May is already looking great. I've booked 2 guests in May, 2 out of the 4 guests that we're going to have in May. It's just great, man. I'm just dead excited. Gary says he's 39. Gary, keep holding on, mate. Keep holding on for that 12 months until you're 40. I'll be joining you very soon, though. Definitely. Let's have a look. What else is going on in the chat? I had a couple of cell tapes recently. Thought they were the best ones I've done. One did get a recall, to be fair, says Josh. Nice one, mate. That's really good, dude. Definitely. But yeah, I'm just aware when I was chatting to Andy today, I was like, I just wonder what was kind of going, what wasn't quite right about these tapes. And I think it was just trying to second guess, just go, right, okay, they're probably going to want me to play it a little bit like this, as opposed to going, just, how are you going to play it, Ross? One tape, actually, very authentically, I did just go, because it was a comedy, I thought, screw it, I'm just going to really have fun with this and muck about. And that was good, and that did get me another audition off the back of that. I didn't get that role, but I did get an audition for something else. So that one clearly worked, but there's a couple of others where I was just like, I did too many takes, I overthought it, and I was just trying to second guess, I think, what I thought the casting director or the director wanted, because it was the first time I'd auditioned for that casting director as well. And I was like, I just really want to do a good job of this. We're all fallible. None of us are perfect, but we go again. We get up and we go again. So that's this Thursday night. Let me know what's going down with you. We've got, what is it now? Got a good half an hour. So we can just have a chat about whatever you want. Brendan says he's going to be 61 this year. Brendan, you got so much time left on the clock, mate. Margaret's 68. So much time left on the clock. We are all getting to 100 years old. Got to look after ourselves. We've got to get our vaccinations. Got to invest in our health, in our psychology, level up, get accountants. and yeah, we're all going to be counting our money at 100 years old, folks. Don't you worry about that whatsoever. We've got to earn it, but we will get there. So yeah, let us know. Let's just have a bit of an open Q&A. I mean, anything at all. I want to know what your mindset around money is as a creative. Were you brought up? I tend to see patterns emerging between. There's a few things that I think make people struggle with money. One, background of how they were brought up and what they were told. And I was certainly, my mum and my dad had a great business when we were young, so we started off quite affluent, actually. I went to a private school, was very, sort of very, very lucky, really, in terms of finance as a kid. But then at 7 years old, my mum and dad's business, just got smashed completely. We were days away from bankruptcy, and we had to start again completely. Council got us a house, and then my dad ended up working 2 jobs while my mum looked after me and my brother. My mum's got the same eye condition that I've got, so my mum, was losing her eyesight, so she couldn't really do, go out the house to work, but she would do ironing for other people and all this sort of stuff. And we were kind of told, that money doesn't grow on trees, and there isn't just a magic tree at the end of the garden. Oh, let me go and get that. And we were shopping in Aldi when it wasn't cool. It was really, anybody of a certain age knows how uncool it was to have to go and get your shopping at Aldi and take that Aldi carrier bag to school, your football boots in. It was the most embarrassing. Oh God, we all just threw them away. We didn't, just didn't have them. Nowadays, Aldi's trendy, innit? It's it's just as acceptable as anything else. But my God, back in the day, Aldi was not trendy at all. So I was very, very much, sort of taught that, money was a scarce resource, effectively. So that was something that I really had to work on when I sort of, grew up and, started. I always worked, I always had jobs. I was always earning money from like 13 with paper rounds. I always found a way. I was quite entrepreneurial. I'd go and sit on the golf course, and when golfers lost their golf balls in the stream, I would pick them out and sell them back to the golfers. So I was a bit of a little hustler. But I could see how other people, might not have been able to push through that. And if you were told that money doesn't grow on trees, and it's almost like a dirty word, money isn't for us, it's not for people like us, people don't have it like where we come from, etc., etc. Maybe you're still holding on to those limiting beliefs now, and it's affecting how far you think you can go in your acting career or what money you even deserve. It's interesting. But yeah, I think there's that. And I think, there is just a lot. I think as actors, we're not even as actors, just as human beings, I think we can really just undervalue ourselves because we're so up for any opportunity. And I'm all about, working for free to move yourself forward, not forever, but on the right projects and stuff like that. But I think, sometimes in the creative industries, there is almost this sort of like romantic nature that people fall in love with about the struggling artist, which I think is bullshit. No one needs to struggle. If you put the work in, you get your head around money properly. Alicia says, I was brought up on the dole. Later in life, my dad did well and suddenly had affluent life. Very cautious with money now as I know what it's like to live without it. Oh, but that's also dangerous, Alicia, isn't it? Because then it's like, right, I'm going to be so risk averse that I'm going to cling on to. My mum's a bit like that now, where I'm like, Mum, I don't need any money from you. I'll never need any money from you. I'm cool on my own. My brother's done very well for himself as well. And I know my mum's got like money in the bank that when my dad died, he left my mum some money and stuff. And I'm like, my mum will always tell me like, oh, well, I'm saving this for your inheritance. And I'm like, Mum, like in the loveliest way, I don't want it. I want you to enjoy it now whilst you're here. I don't want to think, oh, my mum didn't do what she wanted to do while she was alive because she wanted to give me this money, like, no, you've given me enough. You gave me like everything I needed in my life to be successful that wasn't money, but was all the other stuff. So yeah, I think you can be a little bit too risk averse sometimes, Alicia, if you're not careful as well. And then you don't, this is from what I know of you, you're not quite like that. I think you do invest in yourself and invest in stuff that, will have a return on that investment down the line. I wish I learned more about the value of having a decent pension, says Helen. Helen, you're not on your own. I've only just started thinking about it literally now in the last 6 weeks. I'm just hoping for a lottery win, Helen. Don't worry about that. That's my pension. Health before wealth, says David. Yeah, completely agree, mate. Completely agree. Without a doubt. I think there's a balance to be struck because I think to a certain degree having enough money means that you can afford good food, gym membership, other things that facilitate that good health. Without a doubt, but every single day, God, wealth doesn't just mean cash, obviously, not at all, but I think it can relieve you of stress, anxiety when you know that your mortgage is going to get paid. I remember first time I bought this apartment, the first time, I've not bought it again, the only time I bought this apartment that I'm now in, I remember, like, because I was an actor, the bank wanted a stupid amount, well, literally, basically my entire life savings. So for my deposit, because they were like, no, you're a risk, you're an actor. I'm like, no, I'm less at a risk than an employed person because I have multiple streams of income. I've got a business, I've got a voiceover career, I've got an acting career. Like, no, you're a risk, Ross. I'm like, all right, whatever. To the point where it dragged out for so long, a guy from the bank phoned me up and he said, I'm not approving your mortgage. And I went, right, I'm going to level with you now. This has been 6 months of my life. If you do not approve this mortgage, basically, you've just ruined my future. I thought I'd guilt him out a bit. And he was Scottish, and I'm half Scottish. My dad was Scottish. So I played on the Scots thing. I was like, mate, come on, please. I need this. Next day, he got a call on my mum's birthday as well. I was like, maybe my dad up there was just like figuring it out for me. It got approved. I was like, oh my God, yes. But then I remember I remember sort of like the excitement, but also not panic, but fear, thinking, oh my God, I have literally like 2 or 3 mortgage payments in my bank. That was it, nothing else, because I'd put everything I owned in the world, all my savings, into the deposit. And then I remember thinking, right, God, like I'm up against it now. I have two options. I can either live in fear, sort of like pinch every penny I can from everywhere, or I can live with an abundance mindset, go, no, you know what, money is money. It's just an energy. It flows to me and away from me. I don't want to block that flow of energy. and I'm just going to ultimately just work hard. I'm just going to work hard, put great content out there, sort of drop on my emails, send everything, liaise with my voiceover agent and my acting agent way more, and just sort of like put more effort in. And it just worked. Started getting like more and more voiceover jobs, some relatively decently paid adverts and stuff like that. And then about 6 months later, I probably had a year's worth of mortgage payments in the bank, and I went, wow, like, what was I worried about? I should have bought this apartment 5 years ago, but I didn't because I was scared I won't be able to afford it. And it's like, I think sometimes you've got to take that leap in whatever it is, and you've got to invest. I've had it a few times in this business where I've been like, right, the business has got a little bit of money. What do I do? Do I hold it back and do I save it? Or do I put it in, do I spend like, $5,000 on these cameras? And then I can go and do multi-camera interviews in Media City, and then COVID hit, and I could only do 8 of those before COVID hit. But before that, it just upped my game around what I could produce. We started vlogging. I had cameras for that. I had sound equipment, in terms of like building a brand, people knowing about Acts on This. It was like, well, I could be safe and keep that money in the bank, but what's it really doing for me? Nothing at all. I've got to invest it and believe in myself that that investment is going to make me more than what I'm putting out there. So kind of a bit of a balance to be struck, isn't there? Definitely. Money gives you choices, says Linda. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. That's the secret, says Alicia. What do you mean? I can't see any of the comments. Do you mean the secret? Or are we talking about something is the secret to something else? Let me know. But yeah, I think honestly, I know it sounds mental, and I'm all about like science-backed stuff, and I need evidence that things work, but sometimes I have felt at times in my life where I have been blocking money. I've been blocking success. I've been blocking things coming to me. And a lot of it has been based around because I'm worrying too much about them not turning up. It's almost like I'm repelling them. And then when I go, Ross, chill, man. Just allow it to happen. Still work hard, still hustle, but expect good things to happen. That's very often when good things happen, and I smile to myself and go, God, like, I sort of knew that was going to happen. Like, you need to chill out more. It is almost like The Secret. And I'm not like a big believer in woo-woo. I'm like, right, hard work makes the dream work. But sometimes I think you can just sort of like surrender and just allow stuff to happen. Oh, I missed your comment, Ollie. It says something about money is a flow. That's what I was saying before. I completely agree. Definitely. Abundance mindset works with several caveats, says Alex. Get your ego out of the equation. Adjusted it this year, and I'm on job number 3. Yeah, man. Absolutely. No, I agree. Definitely. Abraham Hicks is the secret behind the secret, says Kat. Beck says, glad I was taught the different types of triangles and not tacks at school. Yeah. Well, do you know what? I had a clip that I played out on that webinar of Noel Clark in an interview with a guy that I follow online called Stephen Bartlett, a great businessman. And Noel was saying when he first won his BAFTA, that first BAFTA, I think it was the Rising Star BAFTA, over a decade ago, I think it was now. He was getting up on stage in a borrowed suit, borrowed shoes. The whole world thought that, oh, he's successful and he's got loads of money, he's got this BAFTA now. And he said, no, I was £90,000 in debt because no one taught me about tax. And I'd taken money out of a company, not realizing I had to pay a 40% tax, break on that. And he was screwed, like really screwed. He said, who teaches a young kid about tax? And I was like, and he's not the only one I've seen get screwed up by this industry. I've seen a few serial drama stars, soap stars who get into serial drama at 16, 17, start earning 80, 90 grand a year when they first start out. That money then rises and no one's talking about tax, and they spend it all. And they go out and they have a nice time, like you should be when you're young. They go on holiday, they go clubbing, they buy their mates loads of stuff and cars, and then and then Elizabeth, the queen, just goes, "Yeah, got that 60 grand you owe me," and they go, "Holy shit, no, I had no idea. How do I owe you that?" It's because nobody's taught them, and that's why I wanted to do that webinar with Glyn, because I was like, people need to start like really understanding this, because you can, if you are smart with your money and you invest it in the right places. I think the worst thing you can do is keep money in the bank. Like, genuinely, there are so many places out there where your money can work harder for you than earning I don't even know what interest in the bank is now, like 0.00 whatever. It's going to be like that for a long time. The economy is going to take decades to recover from COVID. no one's going to be giving you 6% interest, 7% interest in the bank. I think there are other options out there to diversify a portfolio, and just even if you're just putting 50 quid a month into something, the compound interest, if it's been put into the right stuff, really works. And then it's about being tax efficient and like I said before, offsetting losses you might have accrued as you're getting established as an actor, as opposed to just leaving it until the last minute, which many people do, and go, right, now I have to get registered as self-employed, so now I will. Just as I'm still trying to get my first paid role since returning to the industry, so off to get new headshots now. Now I'm not shielding, so any tips for doing this? Joe, one, keep your receipt because we can offset that as a career expense. Two, in terms of headshots, so know what you want from those shots before you go into the shoot. So you need to understand what it is you actually want in terms of what you're going to use those shots for. So you've got to figure out your casting type. You can't go in there and go, I'm just going to get 300 shots taken and I'll just discover it when I get the contact sheets. I'm just going to figure out what I want from it. You should know if you know you're after your first TV role, and that's no doubt going to be a minor role. I would suggest that the most abundant opportunities are within serial drama. So there will be those smaller roles that you get in serial drama. I would go, right, where are those? Which ones of those do I fit? Could it be a nurse? Could it be a receptionist? A doctor, a copper, a policeman, a barwoman? Just whatever. And then you want to try and correlate a couple of those shots to show that essence. Not just that. I'm not saying dress up as a policewoman or anything like that. But maybe you do need a shot where you are looking professional and you have a shirt on, and then maybe you have a shot that's a bit more neutral where you've just got a black top on that just frames your face nicely. But have a think about what you want. With women, like hair up, hair down, not loads of makeup or anything like that, just you looking like you on a good day. And then communicate that to the photographer. If you go into a headshot photographer, not just someone who takes photographs, if they're a proper actor's headshot photographer, they will talk to you as well and say, look, what do you want from this? What do you need from this? And you can work together. Relax, chill out, don't stress. It's a very unnatural thing to just stare at a camera for an hour and a half and, pose and do all this crazy stuff. But you'll get used to it and just, communicate with the photographer, basically. Take a few changes, but know what you want to achieve from the shoot before you go. That's the best advice I think I can give. Lissy says, be fearless and put yourself out there, Joe. 1 year ago, I returned to the industry after 4 years and got my first paid job within 6 months. Boom. That's because you're acting on this, Alicia. Which is great, definitely. I put an interview out. Lawrence Russell is an actor in the Acts on This community. He's a member of the website. I had a chat with him over the weekend, and we just got on Zoom, and it was totally unplanned or anything like that, not scripted or anything like that. We didn't really know exactly how it was going to go, bar we were just going to talk about what he's done over the last year, because he's done very, very well. He didn't have a TV job at all. That was his goal for this year throughout COVID. Over the last 12 months, and he started putting out content on social media. He got an agent through that. He just landed his first role on EastEnders. He's doing something else for BBC Three. It's a really interesting chat. I've put it up on... do you know what? Let me show you. Because you might not even know that Act on This has got a YouTube channel. And I've never promoted it. For me, I just use it as like a library, effectively, to just store some videos, and then I can just post the links, into Facebook groups and stuff. But it'd mean the world if you went and subscribed to this, because I'm going to put more content up now that'll just be exclusively to YouTube, and I might even start going live on YouTube. Let's have a look. So if you go over to youtube.com/actonthisTV, here's the YouTube channel, and there's I put up the weekly replays of all of these chats that we have, with crazy thumbnail pictures of me looking like an idiot. And then there's Lawrence's spotlight. It's like a member spotlight, basically. And I'm going to start doing these regularly. If you are a member of actonthis.tv and you've just landed a TV job, let's talk about it, because it's great getting, the guests on that we have every week, which are just amazing. They're the best casting directors in the industry, BAFTA-winning actors, Oscar-winning actors, RTS, Emmy-nominated winning actors, who are crushing it. But it's nice, isn't it, to hear from people who are where we're at, looking for TV work, at the start, at the middle of their career. It's a forever game, isn't it, really? Is there a end of your career? Probably not. But yeah, I'm going to start doing more of those. But that's youtube.com/act on this TV. Go subscribe. Because that would like really help the channel. I've not used it like for any, not promoted it ever. So like the videos and stuff, and subscribe and turn on notifications, and maybe we'll do some like random sort of YouTube lives and stuff like that. You can do some pretty cool stuff over there. So go and watch the video with Lawrence. Decent video as well if you are looking for that first TV credit, Joe. Let's have a look. What's going on here? I can't see all the comments. Facebook, you really need to sort your stuff out, man. It shows me 3 comments at a time, guys, literally. I can see Lissy says, we'll have a listen tomorrow. Can't believe I only found out Acts on This has a Spotify account. Yeah, also, yeah. So I do put out audio on Spotify as well for free. This is free stuff. So there's the member side of Acts on This that's all exclusive for you members, and that's all over on the website, actsonthis.tv. But then across social media channels and on iTunes and Spotify, I do a lot of free stuff. So yeah, if you go to Spotify and just search Act on This TV, all one word, I put out audio, put Lawrence's audio out on that, just the audio of our chat. Also did a chat recently with another member of our community, David Carpenter, who landed for his first TV role. Man, that boy struck gold. A lead role in season 3 of ITV's The Bay. He's in every single episode. He started filming that right now in Manchester. As soon as his character name is released, because we talk about it in the chat, unfortunately, I wish we hadn't, because it means I can't put the chat out yet. But as soon as his character name is released, then we can put the chat out, and you can listen to that as well, because that's you watch it. It was a Zoom chat, or listen to it as an audio-only podcast on Spotify. But that was a really interesting chat. We've got some members of the community just crushing it right now, David said he saw it. Lawrence has done very well, but it takes a lot of time for some people. Yeah, no, I mean, it's time, absolutely, mate. Time. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a finite resource, but equally, we all have 24 hours in a day. And I know we all have other stuff to do, and we've got many, everyone's circumstance is different, but I think if you want to achieve something, you'll find a way to juggle the time. The amount of times, Davey, where I've been like, oh God, it's 1:45, I should go to bed, but I've not done any exercise today. I've not been on my Peloton. I'm like, right, I'll just do 30 minutes. I never regret doing it. I know it means I end up with, 40 minutes less in bed, and I generally feel worse the next morning. But sometimes I'm like, look, if I want to invest in my physique and my body composition and my health, like I've sat on my arse all day, I need to get up and pedal that bike. So yeah, sometimes get up an hour earlier. I've started to get up earlier now and go to the gym. That's something that really holds me accountable as well, because you've got to book the gym now, and if you're late 3 times, you just basically get kicked out. So I'm down at the gym 7:30 every morning. Like literally, what is your daily schedule, Ross? Says Ruth. Right, okay, I can tell you. So my daily schedule now, the gym is open, is my alarm's 6:45. I probably lie there. I have to get up within 10 minutes of that. So by 5 to 7, I've got to be out of bed. Generally speaking, I make myself I know it probably should be less than this, but within 10 minutes of waking, I've got to be out of bed. Then what I do is I get my stuff ready the night before, because it's the path of least resistance. Because in the morning, God, even thinking is hard sometimes, isn't it? So my track pants are already out. My T-shirt, I'll just wear this T-shirt that I've worn the night before. I'm only working out. I don't care if I stink. My shoes are all laid out. I've got some vitamins that I lay out. My water bottle will be laid out. And so are my keys. So all the mask right now, and an antibacterial pack of wipes, because I'm a bit of a health freak and I'm like, I don't want to touch anything with my hands. I take these antibac wipes with me when I'm leaving this building to go through the communal areas. And then I go to the gym. My gym session is 7:30 till 8:20. They only let you have 50 minutes. You can't stay for longer than that if you wanted to. And I find that's really great, because previously, before COVID, I'd probably spend an hour and a half in the gym, but I would only get the same amount of work done that I get done now in 50 minutes, because I would chat. I'm a bugger for it. If there was people in there, I work out with a great group of guys and girls in the morning. They're generally a lot older than me. They've got a lot of wisdom. They're just a brilliant group of people. They're dead funny. They range between... Sean's like 84, I think. Neil's 93. Bert's in his 80s. They're just great guys. Pat, I think she must be sort of 75. We just have a great chat, basically. They just impart all the wisdom on me, dating advice, life advice. But I would chat so much. I'd be there an hour and a half. Now I'm there for 50 minutes. So finish at 8:20, get back. I make my porridge. I have the same thing for breakfast almost every single day. I'll have a protein shake on the way back, and then I'll have porridge, a banana, and honey. Jump in the shower. I'll generally be ready at that point to sit at my desk for about 9:45, 10 o'clock. Now, what I will have done the night before, and this is what I'll do after this schedule, is after this live, after I've sent it out there, I have my tasks that absolutely must be done today. So I'll write these out the night before. I've got 2 tasks on this that needs to be done before I finish this, and that's basically to upload the video of this that I'm doing now and turn it into a podcast and put it out on Spotify and iTunes. After that, I'll probably be going to bed. But yeah, so I will sit down at my desk and I'll know exactly what I've got to do tomorrow, so that I'm not sitting at my desk for the first 30 minutes confused and overwhelmed, thinking, what do I do? What should I do? Oh God, what have I got to do today? Because I hate that feeling. I don't know about you, but I freaking hate it. I get this feeling in the pit of my stomach sometimes where if I don't have it written down what I'm going to do and in the priority of it needs to be done, I'll and ah and I'll go from one thing and I'll think, oh God, and then I'll get a bit panicky and think, no, you should be doing this other thing. This is more important. And I almost get this like paralysis where I'm in between doing one thing or another. I'm not doing either. I hate that feeling. So I schedule what I'm going to do the night before, so then I'm on track. Generally speaking, between 1 and 2, I will have my dinner. At the moment, that comprises of something called Huel, which is human fuel. If you look up huel.com, fantastic company. Basically, it's a completely nutritionally complete dry food, like a dog food, that you mix with boiling water. It's like a posh pot noodle, effectively. No noodles, though. 27 vitamins and minerals, perfectly balanced. It takes no time whatsoever to cook or anything like that, so I'm super efficient. I'll make that. That's what I'll have for my lunch. So it means, I'll still take time out, though. What's important is just because I could carry on working through my meal, because I can eat that whilst I'm carrying on the internet, whatever, I choose not to do that. I'm like, listen, I'm having 30 minutes where I turn off from everything I'm doing. So today I knew I had to do the chat with Andy Morgan, to just have a chat with him about what we're going to talk about on Thursday. So I was like, right, I know I've got that coming up, but for 30 minutes before that, I'm going to completely disconnect, and I'm going to watch, I think I was watching some YouTube videos with an interview with Rio Ferdinand. Fantastic guy. What a great guy. Not just as a footballer, but as a businessman, just an incredible guy, and now so switched on mindset-wise. It's a brilliant chat that I listened to. So that's completely unconnected. Then 2 o'clock came around, and then I just carry on with my list. Today it was getting in touch with Andy Morgan. And then I'll work till probably 6. Then I'll eat my dinner. And then at the moment, because just on my own, Billy no mates, I will often continue to work quite late sometimes, really quite late sometimes. I'm going to try and cut off at 10:30 now. Now I'm up earlier in the morning, but over lockdown when I wasn't getting up that early, I was probably not getting up till 9 o'clock. I was sometimes working till sort of midnight. But it was all on stuff that, was kind of scheduled on here. It was quite structured, just to try and get ahead a little bit, over lockdown. But that's kind of my schedule. Then bed, get up, do it all again tomorrow. Weekends are very different. Weekends, I let myself lie in. Probably don't get out of bed until 9:30 on a Saturday. And again, quite structured though. Sundays particularly, because Sundays I have this weird thing where if I do not clean this flat from top to bottom, and I do it with podcasts on, Sunday's my best learning day really. I must listen to probably 6 hours of podcasts on a Sunday, and I get my environment completely clear. The 12 rules, there's a guy, Jordan Peterson, wrote a book on the 12 rules of life. I can't remember exactly the title of it, 12 rules to live by or something like that. One of the first rules in that book is, listen, ultimately, if you want to take over the world, start with tidying your freaking room. So many people are like, I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. And you look at me and you go, mate, look at the state of your house. You're going to take over the world. You can't even make your bed. So I have to have a real routine around tidying my desk, tidying my room, tidying everything around me, my kitchen, my bathrooms and my bed, and everything's got to be clean and fresh by the end of Sunday, so I'm ready to go again Monday. I'm weird like that. I know I could get a cleaner to do it, but I just can't. I have to do it myself. It's something weird, quite ritualistic in me doing it whilst listening to podcasts that expand my mind. And just give me great ideas. You know, I used to do a half marathon every Sunday as well. I kind of stopped doing that around Christmas time just because I didn't really want to go out amongst all of the chaos that was out there. So that's why I got the Peloton bike, but I'm probably going to start running again. I love running. I used to hate running. I love it now though. It's just me against myself. I have very creative ideas when I run. I just like being out, you know, just out and about with some great music on and get very, very inspired on that. So just a few little bits of insight into sort of my routine and stuff. Yeah, I certainly don't have one of these. One thing I think there's a lot of bullshit on the internet is there's a lot of self-development gurus. Oh my God, and their morning routines. It's almost like kind of like by the time your morning routine's over, it's time to go to bed. You know, I get up in the morning and I meditate for half an hour and I have a green smoothie and I journal for an hour and I jump into a freezing cold plunge pool for an hour and then I sit there for 30 minutes and do gratitude. I'm like, no, you don't. You're lying. You're saying all this shit because it sounds good. But in reality, if you did all that, by the time you'd finished it, it'd be 8 o'clock at night. So I think what you've got to do and what I've done is just I've picked, you know, the best bits of what I've heard from, and what I've read, do you know what I've read in autobiographies of successful people, as opposed to listening to gurus who probably don't do all this stuff themselves. I'm sure they don't. There's so much shit that's being sold online. What I like to do is read autobiographies, and then you can hear from successful people what they do. And I mean, do you know what I realized many years ago? I used to always jump ahead in autobiographies to go, I just wanted to get to the bit where it's like, how have you earned your money? Have you had a successful business? How have you earned your money? I'd often skip the first couple of chapters, which were very much on the foundations of their success. And so many of those chapters were on health, fitness, working out. And I always skipped it for years. I didn't start working out until about 2011, 2012. And I'd left drama school in 2005 and I was struggling for 7 years to have any success. And like, it was all for me about the chase of what I can earn and what I can, you know, get out of the industry as opposed to what I can give to the industry, you know, and a fair exchange of value as opposed to, you know, just a transactional nature of you know, why, I want to be in this show because, if I got a regular in Coronation Street, I could have 100 grand and, you know, all this sort of stuff. It was just nonsense when I look back. But fitness was a game changer in my life. Massively gave me so much discipline. It taught me how to set goals, very tangible goals. I know in life, goals aren't quite as tangible as they are when you're lifting, you know, a certain amount of weight in the gym and next week you're aiming for 2.5 kilograms more, etc., etc. But I cannot stress enough, and I know it's cliched as hell, just how intrinsically linked, for me anyway, my physical health is to my mental health. I feel so much better after just being in the gym today. You know, even though I've been working out here, it's just not the same. It's not the same. I can't tell you how good a good haircut makes you feel as well, which is interesting. But yeah, like just working out first thing in the morning has really, really helped everything in my life, really, to be honest. Sleep's really important as well. Don't listen to people who tell you that, like, you know, if you're not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're not passionate enough. Bullshit. Eric Thomas. I like the guy. He's like a motivational speaker. I like the cut of his jib in terms of he's very sort of action, you know, taker, go-getter. But he's a guy who starts shouting at people like, you know, I don't need an alarm clock to get up in the morning. My passion wakes me up. 4 a.m. club, baby. And I look at him and go, Eric, with love, you look like shit. You're massively overweight. You look like a heart attack about to happen. Don't tell me to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I don't want to look like you if that's what you turn into. With respect. So yeah, sleep's important. Don't let people tell you that, you know, like if you listen to your body, what you need. I know that I need about 7 hours sleep pretty much to feel tip top. I know if I go over that, sometimes I let myself have a bit more than that. And sometimes the majority of the time I feel worse. I feel worse for 9 hours than I would do if I got up at 7. I don't know the physiology behind that. I don't know what that is, but there must be something there. So yeah, don't let people tell you that, you know, sleep isn't important. It's so important. It's absolutely scientifically linked to mortality as well. Like, getting enough sleep will extend your life. It will give you more years on this planet. Do not skip that bit out and say things. I hear people, don't they say it? Oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Yeah, you're going to be dead sooner. if you don't sleep. So again, be kind to yourself. You listen to your body around sleep. So true. I'm doing Insanity after a week. Could actually get through it. Felt like a machine. Oh, Insanity, the workout plan. Yeah, Insanity's hard, man. I did P90X once. But yeah, it's and Gary knows what I'm talking about with Eric. I love Eric Thomas. I think he's a great guy. I just don't believe he gets up at 4:00 in the morning without an alarm clock. I just don't believe anyone does. I think there's a lot of hype sold around personal development, and I just wish people would go, you know what? Yeah, like this is what I really do, and I'm still really successful. Look at me, as opposed to like, I'm sure people pretend a little bit about like they have the perfect life. I'm sure they don't all journal every day, and they don't do gratitude every day. You know, they don't write everything down, and they don't have a green smoothie every day. And you know, like I just don't think people can do that. It's not realistic. I just wish people would be a little bit more truthful about like what they're doing. None of us are perfect at all. You know, I sometimes like, God, drag my ass out of bed. I do it. I do have a routine in that. I hold myself accountable. I know I'll hate myself at 9:00 if I've not got myself out into the gym. I'll just berate myself. I won't be kind to myself later on in the day. I'll be like, God, you loser. So I make myself get out of bed, but I don't always love it. I don't get up and just, you know, I should do, because we should get up and kiss the world, to be honest, particularly if you're healthy and you've got everything, you know, that you need in your life to just, you know, roof over your head and the essentials. But we're just human. And sometimes, you know, it's not always, you know, dead easy to do that sort of stuff, is it? So I might just do it myself, just an honest personal development brand of honesty of just like, right, yeah, realistic personal development, definitely. But yeah, all of it is all important though, in terms of just, you know, getting up and moving your body, and gratitude is a real big thing. You know, you cannot be angry and grateful at the same time. You cannot be pissed off about your acting career and grateful at the same time. You should practice gratitude. I do it more in my head in the shower now, as opposed to writing stuff down. But I just think that, yeah, if you carry out all of the stuff some personal development gurus tell you to do, like I say, who are clearly not super healthy and are overweight and don't look great, I'm like, it'd be 8:00 at night before you've got through it all. Rita says, yeah, the risk of self-loathing gives me the best motivation. I'm with you on it. Honestly, yeah. I am like, you know, I have pretty good internal accountability. I don't need a PT or anybody to sort of, you know, push me in the gym or that sort of stuff. I just know I'll hate myself come 9:00 if I've not got my ass out of bed. So, yeah, whether that's, you know, good or not, it works for me, definitely. Right, I can't believe it's already gone 10:00. Gone off on a bit of a crazy rant about routine and stuff tonight, haven't we? Thank you so much for being here. Really means the world. Let me know if you're watching on the replay. Let me know what your routine is, and all you guys as well. I'll read back through the comments when this is finished. Let me know, like, if you've got any amazing tips for having an amazing day, like setting up your daily routine. For me, if people are struggling in the morning and a routine, for me, it's always about getting clear on what you need to achieve in the morning the night before. It makes it so much easier. Creating a path of least resistance, as in, you know, leaving your clothes out if you're going to work out in the morning, putting your running shoes out, putting vitamins out. I put my contact lenses out, everything I need, so I don't have to think about it. I can't make any excuses up, and it's not as hard because it's all laid out. So when I can get up, I clean my teeth, get my stuff together, I can be out of the house in like 10 minutes. And then when you're out, it's easy. You're breathing it this time of year anyway. Breathing in the air, it's daylight, the birds are singing. It's a lovely time in the morning to get up and about, you know, between 7 and 8 before the world truly wakes up and gets out there. It's a bit of a privilege to sort of have it to yourself a little bit, and it will just put you in a good mood for the day. Definitely. Routines died over lockdown, says Mark. Mate, I'm with you on it completely. Mine only started again today. Mine only started again literally this morning, mate. He says needs to find them again, or even better new ones. Yeah, no, honestly, I'm completely with you. Mine went, I can't tell you just how slovenly and just a bit, I sort of sometimes felt just disgusted with myself, if I'm completely honest with you. Just going, oh my God, like, you know, I'd like lying there in the morning because I'm like, oh, I don't really have to just get up just yet. And I'd kind of like it within the moment, but I'd fucking hate it afterwards. you know, getting up, you know, and like not, sometimes I wouldn't be like, I'd be working from bed. So, you know, like I'd be replying to emails, I'd be doing social media threats on this from bed and stuff. But sometimes it had been gone 12 o'clock by the time I was showered. And I hate that. I'm like, you know, now it's like 9 o'clock and I've already done a workout and I've had my breakfast and I've been out and like, you know, and I'm showered and ready for the day. So yeah, we all must commit to getting those routines back. It makes a massive difference in your life. It makes such a big difference. And I think it's fine that we all went to shit over the last 12 months because it's been, we'll stop using the word unprecedented eventually, but it's been the most ridiculous time ever, hasn't it? And you know what? We've got through it, guys. Like, you know, that's like something to be massively grateful and proud of, really. That was my whole goal. As soon as we went into lockdown in 2020, March 2020, my only goals really was, to be honest with you, at its most basic, because I was pretty scared of COVID, still am, to be honest with you, was to just make sure that me and my family stayed alive, if I'm honest, and that my friends and my loved ones got through it, and this community got through it, you know. That was it. So it doesn't matter if your routine went to shit for a bit or you neglected stuff for a bit or whatever, and you got a bit more timber than you had before lockdown or whatever. Now, world's opening up again. Let's not screw it up. Let's not be complacent. Let's look after each other. Be very careful. Wear masks. Get vaccines. Use hand sanitizer. Stay away from each other. Don't break the rules just because you think that, you know, no one will know, or your mate doesn't seem to have any COVID, you know, symptoms. Oh, it's all right, mate. Yeah, it's a bit cold out in the garden. Come in. No, it's bullshit. Don't do that. You'll wreck it for everybody. Please don't do that. I don't want to go through it again. Let's all just, you know, look out for each other. And yeah, hopefully this is the, you know, the start of getting our lives very much back. So I'm very optimistic about that. Right, I'm going to... Mark says I've lost entire days doing nothing except TikTok. I love it. But you know what? You've learned TikTok. You guys to teach me TikTok, Mark. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. It's one social media platform I have completely neglected. And I know I shouldn't have done it. I know I should have probably embraced that a little bit because it looks like it's a lot of fun. But, you know, it's never too late. We've got plenty of time left on the clock. So thank you so much, folks. It means the world that you are here. If you're watching on the replay, it really means the world that you got this far. Same on the audio. Please drop me a tweet at ActOnThisTV, at Ross A. Grants. Let me know if you've got any tips for your morning routine. Let me know what you do. And let me know what you are going to commit to moving forward. And particularly around finance and money. Yeah, come on, let's draw a line in the sand and let's start looking at our careers more as a business. I will finish on playing the mashup, which is a little, just sort of like a little trailer of what else we spoke about with Glyn from Summit Chartered Accountants, Glyn Jelley. Don't forget, if you're a member of ActOnThis.tv, Glyn will do you that special offer if you wanted to get registered as self-employed and just start, like, you know, I say, like, saving money on tax because you can offset your losses and stuff like that. Listen to the full podcast and you'll find details about that. You can drop Glyn an email, and I'll see you, I really hope, on Thursday night with Andy Morgan. Let me know if you're going to be there. It's going to be a wicked session. I want you to meet Andy. I only met him today, first time. But what a gentleman! What just a, you know, proper, just decent guy with a lot of knowledge. And he just says it how it is as well. You know, I think it's just going to be an awesome session. So if you want to be there, ActOnThis.tv/live. Get your membership if you haven't got one already. And on that, I'm going to go finish my tasks off and go to bed. Get up in the morning. Get back in the gym, get the morning routine done. Thanks for being here. I'll catch up with you all very soon. Lots of love to everybody. Until next time, bye for now. Accountant to dozens of high-profile actors, directors, producers, production companies, and more, including myself, Mr. Glyn Jelley, MD of Summit Chartered Accountants. Glyn, welcome back to Acts on This, mate. How are you? So very, very basically, registering self-employed to begin with, when and how?
Personally, I would be going, right, I'm going to register self-employed because in my head, that is, I'm going to be successful. I am going to get a job for more than £1,000 in a year, and I'm going to make sure that I've kind of committed to that's what I'm going to do.
Once you register self-employed, just the general like tax allowances. So we all have roughly 12.5 grand or something.
What happens as a self-employed person, which is different to an employed person, is up to £6,500. There's no tax and there's no national insurance. What I usually say to my clients is, if you can pay it, even though you didn't have to, pay it, because that's your tick in your national insurance box. And it's good to get that tick in place because you don't know what the future holds, but you want to make sure you've got your full allowance.
Self-employed people get confused about this because you're paying in the current year for the previous year.
Once we get to the 5th of April, we have from that 5th of April all the way until the following 31st of January to submit that tax return for that year and pay the tax.
Take us through each of these sections and just like, what can you claim here and what can't, and what's questionable?
The rule with HMRC is wholly, exclusively and necessary. Okay.
Wholly, exclusively, and necessary.
Yeah.
People think, oh, I don't earn a lot, or I'm not putting any tax through on my tax return, so they'll never come after me. To my knowledge, that isn't the case, is it? They can go after anybody, yeah?
There's two main ways that they'll investigate. So the main one that you see the most common is when circumstances change. If you're not even willing to treat yourself like a business and not willing to put the foundations in place as a business, then you probably not got the right mindset to be successful at what you do. You need the people around you can just ask the right questions and just get on with being an actor, and a good one at that.